you are doing well today. Mrs. Mulchaney back to go over some ratio table word problems today. So make sure at the front of your notebook you've added in that ratios word problems section under Unit 8. And then go ahead and turn in your notebook to some open pages. And we're going to start with some ratio word problems. So we just have 4 examples to do today. We kept it pretty simple just because we went over a lot of ratio tables last time. So we're now going to apply it a little bit differently to some word problems. So go ahead and take a second to copy down this word problem, and when you're ready, unpause your video. So if we look at the first example, it says Florence took a total of 20 quizzes over 4 weeks. After attending 8 weeks of school this quarter, how many quizzes will she have taken if the trend continues? So what we're looking at is a ratio table in the form of a word problem. And we're going to highlight some of the information because we need to start with a ratio. And the ratio that they're giving us, it says Florence took a total of 20 quizzes over 4 weeks. So that's the ratio that they're giving us. So I'm actually going to write that down and start making my table. So we have 20 quizzes. Oops. And then we are comparing it to weeks. And I know I did 20 quizzes in 4 weeks. Now, if we continue in the problem, it says, after attending 8 weeks of school this quarter, how many quizzes will she have taken if the trend continues? So the next piece of information they're giving us, it says, after attending 8 weeks of school. So I need to plug that 8 into the table. So because it's 8 weeks, I'm going to put it down at the bottom in weeks. And I'm missing this number because it's asking how many quizzes. So I can use the ratio that I've been given, this 20 to 4, to move forward in my ratio table. So what could I do to 4 to get to 8? Well, I can multiply by 2. And if I do that to the bottom number, I also have to do that to the top number. So I'm going to multiply it times 2. So 20 times 2 gives me 40. So I know Florence is going to take 40 quizzes. And that would be the answer to that example. So this is just like what we did last time. We took the ratio, the first part of the problem, put it in the ratio table, and then we expanded it going forward doing that equivalent fraction. Now we're going to make it a little bit trickier today. So here's your second example. Go ahead and take a pause if you need to. And let's read this problem. Ruben read a total of 36 books over 18 months. After 20 months, how many books will Ruben have read? So let's go through and highlight. We're going to try to find that first ratio. So it says Ruben read a total of 36 books over 18 months. So I have 36 books over 18 months. That means I'm comparing books to months. And from the first piece I highlighted, I know I'm doing 36 books in 18 months. Now it says, if I come back to the problem, after 20 months, how many books will Ruben have read? So I'm going to highlight that. I know 20 months. So I know 20 months. But it's asking me how many books will he have read? So I don't know the books, but I do know 20 months. So I'm going to put 20 down in the months. And I'm looking for this missing spot of books. Now I want you to think about this ratio table. In the lesson that we did previously, we would have been easily able to move from 18 to 20, no big deal. But in this problem, it doesn't work that way. I can't multiply 18 times something to make 20. So what you can do, because we've been learning about equivalent ratios, is we are going to take this fraction backwards and we're going to simplify it. So what could I simplify 36 and 18 both by? So I can actually divide 36, I can divide by 9 to move backwards. So 36 divided by 9 would give me 4, and 18 divided by 9 would give me 2. So I simplified that ratio. Now, could I get from the 2 over to this 20? And the answer is now I can. I have a simplified ratio that moves forward. So what would I multiply times 2 to make 20? Well, I would multiply times 10. And whatever I do to the bottom, I also have to do to the top. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 10, which gives me 40. So I end up with 40 books as my answer. So all you have to do is simplify the given ratio because it doesn't move forward. 18 times something doesn't give me 20, but I can simplify this 36 over 18. So I divided by 9, got my simplified fraction or ratio, and now I can move forward in the table. So I want you to look at the next one. See if you can set up your table and see if you can figure out the answer. This one's going to be another one where you're going to have to simplify. I'll give you that hint. So it says Eve knit a total of 16 centimeters of a scarf over 2 nights. After 3 nights of knitting, how many centimeters of a scarf will Eve have knit? So looking at this problem and highlighting the first ratio, she knit 16 centimeters of a scarf over 2 nights. So I know that I am comparing centimeters to nights. And it's telling me she did 16 centimeters in 2 nights. Now I'm going to continue reading the problem. After 3 nights, so they're giving us 3 nights, so I could write that down in my ratio table. How many centimeters of the scarf did she knit? So we're looking for this number there. Now my question to you is, you can't move forward from 2 to 3 and multiply it by something because 2 times 3, or 2 times something does not make 3. So we can't move forward in the table, but we could take this backwards and we can simplify. So what do 16 and 2 both simplify by? Well, they both would divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 would give you 8, and 2 divided by 2 would give you 1. Now, I can take that simplified ratio now and move it forward. So 1 times 3 would be 3, and 8, because I have to multiply the same thing on the bottom, times 3 would give me 24. So your answer for that one should have been 24, and I know that 24 is in the centimeters row, so centimeters. And that's your answer. All right, we have one more, so go ahead and write down the problem for this one, and then go ahead and try to solve. Again, it's going to be another one of those simplifying ones. So if we read this one, it says Myra's office recycled a total of 8 kilograms of paper for 2 weeks. So there's your first ratio, 8 kilograms for 2 weeks. So we are comparing kilograms to weeks. And we know that there are 8 kilograms for 2 weeks. Now it says how many weeks, so I'm missing weeks, will it take to recycle 20 kilograms? So I know 20 kilograms, so I'm going to plug that in where kilograms are. Oops. Now, I need to figure out what to do with this ratio table. I can't move forward from 8 to 20 because something times 8 does not make 20, so that's not going to work. So again, I need to simplify. So I'm going to move this ratio backwards and simplify. So what do 8 and 2 both simplify by? Well, I can divide them both by 2. And if I divide them both by 2, I get 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I get a simplified ratio of 4 over 1. Now I can move it forward. 4 times 5 would be 20. So I need to do 1 times 5 would give me 5. So in order for them to save 20 kilograms of, or recycle 20 kilograms of paper, it's going to take them 5 weeks. And I know it's weeks because the 5 is in the weeks row of the ratio table. If you have any questions about the ratio table word problems, make sure that you let your teacher know. But other than that, I hope you have a great day.